Okay. Okie doke. Looks like we are live. Gonna wait for folks to start joining us here. All right. Well, welcome Long Beach. Hello, hello. We are live here with Long Beach Forward. Got some of our team here today. For those of you who don't know us, we are a nonprofit organization with the vision that our race and income do not determine one's future in Long Beach. It's a community where everyone is safe, connected, and healthy. That is our vision, pretty incredible vision. And our mission at Long Beach Forward is to create a healthy Long Beach with low-income communities of color by building community knowledge, leadership, and power. So glad you're here with us today for our live staff chat of 2021. I'm gonna welcome in my colleague, Marlene.
Hey folks, welcome. We're really excited to be back with you in 2021. We're really excited to share everything that we're thinking of. We know that things that are happening on the national level very much connect to our community, and we know that we feel very uncertain at this moment. And in that sentiment, we would love to share what we have planned and also are aspiring to in 2021, as well as try to get you all connected to the work that we're doing. We would love to build community with you and get you engaged in our upcoming opportunities. We're really excited to be in 2021 and hopefully build some of that work alongside you. So welcome. And as we get started, I would love to introduce some of our folks in our team. I'll start by introducing myself. My name is Marlene. My pronouns are she and her, and I am Long Beach Forward's Associate Director. Hey, I'm gonna pass it on to Michael.
Hello, my name is Michael Dixon. I'm the program assistant, and my pronouns are he and him. Super excited to be here today. I'll pass along to Nubia.
Hi, I'm Nubia Flores Cedeno, and my pronouns are she, hers, and I am the parent organizer here at Long Beach Forward, and I'm going to pass it on to Malaya.
Hello, my name is Mylea Ang. My pronouns are she, her, they, and I am a partner fellow for Best Start, organizing fellow for Best Start Central Long Beach. And I will be passing it to Valentina. Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm Valentina Flores. My pronouns are she and hers, and I'm also an organizing fellow with Long Beach Forward and the Best Start program. I'll pass it down to our director, James.
Hey everyone, happy afternoon or good morning, depending on how much coffee you've had so far today. My name is James, pronouns are he, him, his, and I'm our executive director, and I will pass it over to the amazing Melissa.
Hey, hello, hello. I'm Melissa Morgan. I'm the Director of Communications, and my pronouns are she and her, and I've adopted one that I really like, which is sis. I think that's pretty cool. So we're so glad that you're here with us today. We're just gonna have a 30-minute chat. Hopefully you're eating lunch or maybe still drinking your coffee. We wanted to share some of our thoughts about 2021, our reactions to what's been happening in the world around us, and just reintroduce you to some of our colleagues. Super excited to have you all here with us today. So here's my question for you all. I would love to know, every year people will still kind of try to create maybe a resolution for the new year. We want to think about intentions because you can't necessarily break an intention, right? It's a thought you can weave throughout the year. So would love to know, team, what are some of your intentions and your strategies for the sustainable movement development that we do this year? So yeah, what intentions are you making? Nubia, I'd love to hear from you with all of the work you're doing in building relationships with parents, working around language justice as well, and language access. What are some of the intentions you have this year around sustainable movement development?
think one of my main intentions and that I want to put a lot of energy towards is strengthening connection and building relationships with parents in our community. And that also includes making sure that they're comfortable with this virtual world that we're in, being, you know, just to know about how the technology works, emailing, social media. We can't really hit the streets or even go to meetings right now. Everything is on social media. So to me, it's, helping to educate and making sure that they're comfortable with that. And then also being able to organize around issues that are pressing our school communities and impacting families. So those are my intentions. Yeah.
Thanks, Nubia. It takes a lot of work. I know it takes a lot of work to build trust with parents and guardians and families in the work that my colleagues get to do with our neighbors here in Long Beach. I have a lot of respect as I've been learning more about what it entails to really create strong, powerful people power. And that's the hashtag you're going to see throughout the year in our posts, People Power LB, because that's really what fuels these movements is people, you, me, our neighbors. So Michael, tell us a little bit about what are some of your intentions this year and strategies for strategic and sustainable movement development?
Yeah, I think one of the strategies or goals I want for this year is to ensure that better work goes on no matter who is in any position. I think that is super important. That that I guess the commitment and the movements that we're building aren't tied to whoever is in whatever position. It's it'll sustain and go on no matter who is filling any role.
Thanks, Michael. How about for you, Mylea? You're also on the team with Michael and Nubia. What are your thoughts around intentions, your intentions for this year? You're a new fellow. You started as an intern last year, and we're just so thrilled we were able to hire you and a couple of our other interns from Cal State Long Beach. Represent. What are your intentions this year, Mylea?
Thank you, Melissa. Those are some wonderful intentions. My own intentions are to help people while also making sure I help myself. I feel like it's very important to take account of how I'm feeling and take care of myself and do my best for others. I'm sorry, my dogs are like. Can you hear me still? Okay. So I'm planning to stick to my work and to keep myself as available as possible so I can make sure that I'm there when I need to be there, when I can help people, when I can do my best work. I'd also love to learn more, pick up new tools and skills to use. And I'm looking into editing and content creation apps right now. And lastly, I'm going to look for more opportunities to meet one-on-one with our peers and our coworkers to just de-stress and have normal everyday conversations with each other. I feel like this is so important, especially when we're all online right now, because it really helps build like an organizational culture and it helps relationships. And it's sometimes you just need that moment to have fun and just take a breather with each other. So that's what I'm like intending to do.
That's brilliant. Totally brilliant. Like, I think last year was a big year around self-care. And I feel like we've just merged right into another year, 365 days of remembering, like you said, Mylea, to help others while helping ourselves. There's that, that analogy in an airplane when they talk about the oxygen mask that comes down, how they always instruct us to put on ours first, and then you can help the people next to you who need that support. I think that's just such a great visual of just the things that we're dealing with right now in this era of time that we're in, and the kinds of things happening in Long Beach, the things we're dealing with in our own personal families, our friends, being a support to others in the community. So this is a really good segue, Mylea, into my next question for you all is, how are you processing grief and also conflict at this time? Or maybe even how are you encouraging other people to do that? This has been a really fiery year And then we kicked off 2021 with a lot of conflict, a lot of tension. I think we were all anticipating something would happen, and then something did happen in the Capitol. And it can reverberate still here in our communities, right? And all of this impacts us, whether it's on a physical level or in front of our face or subconscious, or in our gut. You know, since we're so closely tied to community issues, we're impacted by these things that happen in other places. So how are you all processing grief around COVID, or losing people, or family relationships that maybe are stressed and strained, or the politics locally? And then how are you processing conflict? So Valentina, what are some of your thoughts? You're one of our new fellows as well, who I'm glad you said yes and you signed on to work with us this year after your internship.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm so excited that I got to stay on with you guys and work with you. You guys are one in a million. I would say process through acceptance has been my way of moving forward, and just kind of accepting that, not accepting things the way they are, because we should never do that, but more of accepting that it's our job as community, leaders, as community people, that to use the things that we have done or the things that we have seen to foster change in our communities and build each other up as people and as a united front, and say, we are not going to accept the things the way they are, and use that as like I said, to foster change. I'm really excited to use that as a pushing forward, and helping with others process their grief, just being open-minded and being able to listen to what others have to say, because without being able to listen to others, we're not able to move forward and learn from each other.
Yeah, thank you, Valentina. Acceptance and understanding, isn't that what it's all about? And that's a process, because we're not always there. I think about this spectrum where we can be on with issues. I love a good spectrum. But there's we can be resistant and frustrated and angry, and then especially when it comes to difference and diversity, then some people might take a little time to get to that place of acceptance, and building understanding, and really getting, not just hearing, but listening, processing, maybe some empathy, and then celebrating one another and celebrating community and our difference. How about for you, Nubia? You're an incredible support for me, as a mom, as we've been digging into this work as parents with kids here in the school district, and we're neighbors in North Long Beach, uptown. We've got our own really unique things happening here. What are some ways that you're processing grief or conflict, or what are you advising others? How are you doing that? And you're doing it in another language often with parents too. So give us some of your perspective.
For me, it's connection and reaching out and just having a really tight circle of friends, and also just fellow organizers, and venting to one another. It's nice to have fellow organizers to connect with, my coworkers, that I don't have to explain much. I can just say 3 words and just decompress. There's that. And then in terms of everything else, just the work that I do in the community, it's so based on just being a mother, a parent, a community member, and then raising little citizens that are going to go out into the community. It's a little bit kind of I have my support of girlfriends. They lift me up. I lift you up, someone else. I talk to mothers on a daily basis, that a lot of my work sometimes is just kind of hearing them vent, and then okay, get up, get back in there and do it, keep going. You're not alone. We're doing this together. And grief. I have also my own mother. She hears me cry a lot. So my mom. And reading, walking, and a lot of prayer. Yeah, that's how I handle it.
Oh yeah, we've been going through an emotional roller coaster the last year. We're still going. I think maybe we've just gone down, right? And then maybe soon it's going to be tick, tick, that sound, tick, 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 as it starts going up. I hate that sound. It's so scary. I hate anticipation and suspense. I love a surprise. but I don't like anticipation. So we don't know what's coming next. Community is so important. I was looking at on YouTube right now, Lilia Ocampo is there and saying, you're such a great supporter for the community, Nubia. And Lilia is the same. Like, we've got so many amazing people that we get to work with in Long Beach.
Lydia's amazing, and she's lifted me off the mat once or twice or a few, but she's amazing, and she's one of the people that fuel me to continue in this work every day.
She says, also you, Marlene, she just wrote. So you're getting some nice shout outs, community, or the community. I want to pull in James and Marlene. James, how are you dealing with conflict and grief, and what can you share with others in this time?
Yeah, it's such a great question. Also, these live chats are basically a sitcom about working with a bunch of water signs. So this is great. I just cry it all the time. And I think about like grief and conflict. I think about like so much of our work as organizers, whether we are, doing this day in and day out, juggling multiple responsibilities. And I think, all of us have been in different ways touched really deeply by this pandemic and the impacts like socially, economically, emotionally. Like all of our work is about working with people and ourselves oftentimes too, who are so disenfranchised and lack this ability to really see things through. And so working through that fear, through that, those emotions is essential to that. And that also means that like grief and conflict are there as much as power building, as much as empowerment, as much as finding that self-worth, and all of those really like revolutionary feelings are. And so I say that because it's important to acknowledge that sometimes I think we want to be like, no, like I'm really strong through this, I want to power through this, I want to like be really solid about it. But that grief and that conflict, this movement building work we do is messy, right? And we're going to have this conflict. We're going to have these moments. And I know, at least even for myself and within my own family who's been impacted by COVID, like we're going to have those moments where we do want to create space for grief, to allow that sadness and also the profound joy that comes with it. And knowing that like we can hold those multiple truths at the same time, right? And also with each other that we're building community with. We can acknowledge that we have such deep love and commitment and connection to each other, but also be in conflict, right? Like, and that's part of this process of us being able to redefine like what a better world is for us. Because a lot of times we don't have that modeled for us, right? A lot of us live in really, our environments are really difficult to navigate, and so it requires a lot of work on our own selves to be able to imagine how the world could be different. And the reality is that grief and conflict are absolutely part of that. So I think, those are some of the things that I remind myself about how these aren't necessarily, random and emotions that don't belong here, but actually really part of that process.
Thanks, James. We're gonna transition over. Marlene, if you'd share with us some thoughts and some of what you're thinking about 2021.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like 2021 is really going to be a year to allow us to redeem ourselves and kind of just start to think about what are things that I think we've lived through really traumatic experiences, whether we're able to vocalize about them or not. And I think using those ideas and the experiences we've been through to fuel ourselves into a better thing. And I know I'm talking very like abstract, but what does it look like now that we've seen so many people lose medical insurance? Like, why should our communities be worried about a pandemic hitting and running out of medical insurance? We're seeing people being um, folks that are houseless being displaced and camps being swept up. Like, what does it look like for us to step more into our humanity? Like, I really hope that seeing through this grief and experiencing so much hardships makes us a little bit more human and a little bit more entitled to ask for bigger, a better, bigger, better world as a collective. So I hope that's what's in 2020, more humanity and care for each other as we move into this work, and a little bit of that anger left over too, for us to have a little bit of will to fight. Um, yeah. All right, so I am actually gonna move us into our call to action. We like to chat. We like to talk a lot. So we actually want to encourage you to follow some of our social partners, some of our folks that are doing the work alongside us. And that of course, includes Libre. And you could follow them at We Are LBRE. And also the other one is the Long Beach Tenants Union at LB Tenants Union. And both of those folks, we want to encourage you to follow them, as well as so many of our other partners that are doing amazing work in Long Beach. So keep connected with them. And I'm going to pass it on to Michael to remind you of something that they have going on as well.
Yes, hello everyone. So one of the things I wanted to remind everyone about is to fill out our Best Start survey. So we have one survey that's in English and another one that is in Spanish. And so these surveys are information to help us learn a little bit more about our communities, what they need, especially at a time like this, and how we can best provide our resources to help out the community. So these surveys will be posted on our website as well as on social media, so you can check those out.
Michael, can you also share with us what are you looking forward to and excited about in 2021?
Yes, I am looking forward to and excited about how our community. So our community is very resilient and very strong. And I am really excited to see how our communities adapt and how they adapt to the times. I think that a lot of community members are doing very, very exciting things. And so I'm very excited to see how that evolves and how that changes throughout the year.
Thanks. Nubia, would you like to share with us what you're very excited about and give us your call to action as well?
My call to action is to parents or families that want to be up to date on what's going on in our school communities, within our school district. From a community perspective, I encourage you to follow or to subscribe to our email list, which we'll drop that in the chats on our social media and share on screen. Also, I would encourage people to follow us on Twitter and on Facebook at BHC Long Beach. And yeah, what am I looking for? What am I excited to 2021? I'm just inspired by fellow organizers and those that are, we have a change in leadership nationally, which kind of feels like weight lifted, but there's still so much work to do and so many that are continuing to do it. So I have a lot of faith that we will continue to keep going and pushing strong, and we'll be able to accomplish much more this year. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, Nubia, thank you for sharing. Valentina, can you share your call to action and also what you're excited about 2021?
Yes, of course. Well, our call to action is we are currently doing our participatory budgeting. So we have our last idea collection coming up this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. If you guys are not familiar with it, it is essentially a democratic process that we have here at LB Forward and Best Start, where we get people together in the community to tell us what they need and what they want us to help the city spend their money. So we would love to hear from you guys and what we can do to help improve any kind of situation in the community. And yeah, so we have that one. For 2021, I would say I am ready to fight the power. I'm ready to use all the things that we learned in 2020 and use it to really make a change this year, because like Nubia said, it feels like there is a shift in power. Well, there is a shift in power, but if we feel it, there's so much work to be done, but it feels nice to, have somebody in power that's not going to fight as much against us. So it's going to be really good to be able to use that and just foster that change.
Thanks, Valentina. That's super, super insightful. And you're absolutely right. Like, That is very, very, very necessary. And Melissa, what are you looking forward to, and what's your call to action?
I have a lot that I'm looking forward to this year. I think this is going to be, I love how on TV they've been saying this is a historic moment. I think we're in a historic moment in Long Beach with our new generation and all the fire that's fueling them to make change. I think we're going to have many more youth voices speaking up, including like my children and their peers. And I'm really looking forward to how people really look at issues around anti-Blackness and around racism as a result of the uprisings and protests that happened last year and Black Lives Matter issues. So that is very exciting to me. I want to invite people to be a digital champion around Long Beach Forward. We are sharing our partners, our collaborators, our coalitions information around how to support movement building in Long Beach, how to be engaged during a social distance time. So you can forward and like and share our posts. We're at Move LB Forward. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're also on LinkedIn. And if you'd like to join our email list so that we can just send information directly to your inbox to engage in community building, subscribe.
All right, thank you for sharing, Melissa. Before I hand it over to James, I want to hear from Mylea. What are you looking forward to in 2021?
Thank you, Marlene. So first of all, my call to action is to please check out Best Arts Facebook at Best Arts Central Long Beach and learn more about our work. We post a lot of updates on there, and we also have our own email and text list that you could subscribe to for more. I'd also call people to keep themselves informed and to read into the news and even sometimes in between the lines, because I feel like knowledge is a very important form of power. And then what I'm excited for in 2021 is to help build more change and like hope for our communities. As we've like mentioned, there's been a lot going on and things have not been the easiest. So I'm looking forward to working to build something positive with everyone I'm working with in this amazing workplace, to remind people and to empower people with knowing that we can all make a difference in our own way. Lastly, I'm excited to meet our new interns, to work more with the community and our team, and to overall learn more about our line of work in community building and social activism. So, thank you.
Thanks, Mylea. All right, James, take it home.
Right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. And a huge thank you to everyone on our team who joined us for this live chat, to Mel and Marlene for helping hold it down and always wrangle us together. So I really appreciate you all and really excited to be part of this team. As you all are going to go out, before we let you go on with the rest of your day, whether you're watching this live or you're watching this later, thank you for tuning in and thank you for joining us. I think there's going to be a lot of amazing opportunities and a lot of amazing moments that we're going to be able to share together moving forward. One of the things that we talk a lot about at Long Beach Forward is how we really strive to ground ourselves in purpose and value. And for us at Long Beach Forward, the values of fairness, collaboration, connection, change, and integrity are really central to that. And I would really want to encourage you all to think about moving forward into 2021. What is it that grounds you in purpose? And what are those values that you really want to align yourself with and really think and reflect on about how you're moving throughout the world, within our relationships, within our community, within the work that you're doing to contribute towards that better world that we know is possible. There's a lot of things that, still give us pause. There's a lot of things that are giving us a lot of opportunity and optimism. But we know for sure that we're not going back to the way things were before. We know that even as the situation in this pandemic improves, things are still going to be radically different. And so for us to really think about on a daily, a weekly, a monthly basis about that purpose and that value that brings us to build this community and to build a better world that we know is possible is going to be really key. And I'm excited to hear from you all about what that is, and how that's going to evolve over time. So thank you so much for joining us. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day, week, and month. And of course, 2021. Thank you, everyone.